Yo, what is good YouTube, and welcome back to another video. And in today's video we're going to be going over every single shovel in Dig, going from the worst to the best, telling you guys what the best ones that they are, how much every single one costs, what every single one does, and where to find most of them. Some of them are locked behind quests or in areas that I can't actually access yet, but I will be showing you guys every single shovel and telling you guys about every single shovel. But before we get into that, I'm trying to hit 10,000 before the end of 2025, and with your guys' help we can get that. I got insane support on my last video, over 40,000 views and over 400 of you guys subscribed, but I was still checking my analytics and realized that even now it's over 92% of you guys that aren't subscribed. It's free, it helps me out, and it allows me to provide better content. But enough of my yapping, you guys are here for shovels, so let's get into that. So I'm going to start this video off by, obviously we are here to learn about every single shovel that you can currently get in the game. Basically the way I'm going to be doing this is shovels are split into different stages. We have from stage 1 all the way up to stage 5. Okay, so stage 1 shovels are the ones that you would use kind of early game, stage 5 shovels are end game, and the ones in between are mid game to get you guys to them. So the first ones we're going to be going over are the stage 1 shovels, and of course the first stage 1 shovel is the wooden shovel. That is cost 0 because you get it straight away, and it has a control of 4, a strength of 4, a haste of 2, and a luck of 0, doing 5 boss damage. Obviously this is the one that everybody gets in the start. Everybody knows that this one is not very good. Then the second one that we do have is we have the bejeweled shovel, which if you guys are wondering how you guys are going how to get this, you will have to buy the Shoveler Club Game Pass. This is also another very stage 1 starter one. It is a little bit better than the one you get given at the start, with a 6 control, a 5 strength, a 4 haste, and a 7 luck. I will be throwing all of these up on the screen so you guys can go ahead and see them for yourselves, but obviously I'm going to read them out as well. These stage 1s I'm not really going to go over too much because obviously they are stage 1, so they are not the best in the game. And then the next one that we do have is we do have the training shovel, which you can go ahead and buy over here. You will have to buy this as part of the tutorial, and this costs 85 money with a 7 control, a 3 strength, a 1 haste, and a minus 20 luck. I have no idea why they made it minus 20 luck. You might as well just use the wooden shovel, I'm not gonna lie, because minus 20 luck is absolutely ridiculous. The only thing that's a little bit better is the control. Everything else is worse. And then what we have next is for 350 we have the toy shovel over here. This is a preferred ground of dirt with a control of 5.5, a strength of 4, a haste of 2.5, and then a luck of 5 with a 7 boss damage. So like I said, all of these stage 1s, they're kind of mid. I'm gonna be honest with you, they're not very good at all, and all of the stage 1s are basically all the ones behind me. Moving on to the copper shovel with 650. That is got a control of 6, a strength of 4.5, a haste of 3.5, a luck of 3, and a boss damage of 10. Then this is the next one I would highly suggest that you guys go ahead and buy. I would say save up for the rock shovel. The rock shovel has a control of 6.5, a strength of 6.5, it has only a 1 haste, so try not to miss your hits, and it also has a luck of 10. But this is the first shovel in the game where you were able to go ahead and also mine on rock and not just in normal ground. Bear in mind guys, the ones that say preferred ground rock, they can also still mine in dirt. It's just if you mine in rock you are likely to get better stuff. And then the next thing that we do have for 1,500 is the lucky shovel over here with a control of 5, a strength of 5, a haste of 1, and a luck of 18 with 17 damage. So the thing that sets these two apart is obviously the luck, but I'm not gonna lie, it has a little bit less control and a little bit less strength than the rock shovel does, but the luck is actually quite a bit. But I'm not gonna lie, with a difference of 1,000, I would just suggest going with the rock shovel. And then we are slowly going to be moving on to the stage 2 shovels, and now we're going to have to be moving around a little bit. So for the first stage 2 shovel we have the ruby shovel, and what you want to be able to do is go ahead and drive on over to Cinder Shores. If you guys are confused on how to get there, just follow where I'm going right now. It's literally down the road from Foxtown and go on to the right, and here we are at Cinder Shores. So we have to go ahead and run on over here to the guy over here, and the second shovel is going to be the ruby shovel, which you can go ahead and buy in here for 6,500 with a preferred of rock with a 6.5 control, a 7 strength, a 3.5 a haste, and a 13 luck. I would highly suggest going from the rock shovel to this shovel. That is the progression guide so far, guys. So go from the basic shovel to the rock shovel to the ruby shovel. The next shovel we have for this area is by killing one of the bosses. So the boss you can go ahead and kill here is the king crab, and that is in Cinder Shores. It spawns around, and I'm not gonna lie, it is a pretty decent shovel with a control of 5, a strength of 9, a haste of 1, and a luck of 10. So that is the abyssal shovel. It also does 35 boss damage, so it's one of your better boss damage items you can get at the very start. And then the next shovel we do go ahead and have is the bal shovel over here for 14,000. I would highly suggest not getting this one, because I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of the only thing that's kind of better is just the 25 luck, but everything else is worse by a considerable amount than the ruby shovel. So we have a 5.5 control, a 5.5 strength, a 3 haste, and a 25 luck with only 12 boss damage. So I'm not gonna lie, I would highly suggest just kind of sticking with the ruby shovel. And now what we're going to be moving over to, we're going to be moving over to the Cinder Cavern. So in the Cinder Cavern, we're going to be able to find ourselves the magnet shovel. So if you guys want to know how to go over and get there, this is a very good shovel for the journal. I'm not gonna lie, this isn't a good shovel for progression, but if you are later in the game and you were trying to complete the journal, because if you guys didn't know, each journal you go ahead and fully complete, you go ahead and get a item, or you can get a skin. So that is how you get skins in this game, is by going ahead and completing the different journals. I believe I am going the right way. I could be going the completely wrong way, and there we go. See, look guys, like I said, I do have, if you guys click up here, you guys can see how much time you have played. I do have 25 hours played, so I'm not gonna lie, I've been kind of no life in this game, but I still don't know how to get everything. But here we go. You will go ahead and find this cave here. If I go ahead and click on my map, you can see I am around right here, and this is the coordinates to the start of the cave. If we go ahead and drive down here, we will indeed run into the magnet shovel. So if I keep on going down, and you keep on going all the way down here, all the way down, all the way down, all the way down, and then you have to basically go down this elevator. So you speak to this guy here, you give him 1,000 of your money, I believe. Yes, you give him 1,000 of your money, you wait around 2 minutes and 30 seconds, you go down there, and you are able to buy the magnet shovel for 10,000. Like I said, I would not buy this for progression. I would simply buy this if you are trying to do your journal with a control of 8, a strength of 4, a haste of 3 with a minus 100 luck. So like I said, this is very good for journal, for basically trying to get all those common items, because I'm not gonna lie, the common items are one of the hardest ones to get for me anyway. Maybe because I'm using shovels that have too much luck, but getting them is very hard. Where we are going now is we're going to go over to Verdant Vale, where this is the jam shovel. This is one of your next options that you can go for progression. Everyone did say that it did get nerfed, but if you go ahead and check their Discord server, they did indeed kind of revert the nerf to not as good as it was before, but it's not as bad as they did make it. So if we go ahead and take the right over here, and then if we keep on following around here, when you guys see all these clovers and these dandelions with this big B over here, you guys will see that if we keep on running over here and take a right over here, right next to where the merchant is, you can go ahead and buy the jam shovel, and when paired with the jar of jam, it is a still pretty decent purchase for your 20,000. It has a control of 4.5, a strength of 4.5, a haste of 6, and a luck of 12. I don't know if that is fully updated, but if I go ahead in here, yeah, so a control of 4.5, a haste of 6, a 4.5, and then a luck. But if you do pair it with the jam, a jar of jam, it is very good. Also, this has an ability, it has a 10% chance to give plus 0.5 haste to nearby players for 60 seconds, so it's good if you are kind of, you know, around people. Also, I forgot to mention the ability of the magnet. You can only dig junk items, but has a high likely chance of rewarding loot with every dig. So basically it's good if you want to try and get ancient tomes, crates, and everything like that. The next thing we are going to go over to is we are going to go over to Rooftop Woodland. So from Verdant Vale, I was about to say Whale, Verdant Vale, we'll go ahead and take it out here. We're going to go ahead and take the right, and then as we carry on following this way, we are then going to go ahead and follow this way round to go ahead and go back to where we were just about to go. So we go ahead here, we follow this round, and actually we have to turn around. Like I said, I'm really still trying to learn this map. We followed this way up, sorry. So we take the right, and you guys will see a little hill up here. So this takes us up to Rooftop Woodlands, where we are going to find our 2 next to stage 2 shovels. I'm not going to lie guys, this is going to be a decently long video, so depending on what part of the game you are in, I would say kind of skip through to try and find when I'm talking about the stage that you guys are on. So we are going to come up on the first one now, and I did mention this in one of my last videos, my video that got over 40,000 views. Like I said, thank you guys so much for that. Is the Spore Shovel over here. This costs you a whopping 30,000, but it has a control of 8, a strength of 6, a luck of 5, and a luck of 18, sorry, and a haste of 5. This also has an ability that has a 10% chance to spawn a spore totem, granting plus 6 luck for 100 seconds. So it is pretty good because of the ability, but obviously there is better shovels out there. So I would say either go for the jam shovel, I would say go for the spore shovel, or go for this shovel I'm next about to talk about. This next shovel is another boss drop. This is the candle lit shovel. Basically, this is dropped from the candlelight boss. And it has a control of 5, it has a strength of 10, a haste of 5, and a luck of 15. This is actually the shovel I personally used to get all the way up to the prismatic shovel. As you guys can see, I've dug over near enough 600 items with this to go ahead and get my hands on the prismatic shovel myself. So that is basically what I did, but let's go ahead and move on to the stage 3 shovels. The next shovel we have is in the combat guild, so we basically have to reverse on ourselves to go back towards Verdant Vale, because the combat guild is very close there. This is also where you can buy the horns to spawn in these different bosses. So if the bosses are not very spawning, but I'm not gonna lie, they are very expensive. So basically what you could do is you could try and spawn in the candle lit for around 30,000 and actually try and get the shovel from that, basically making the shovel cost you 30,000. But I'm not gonna lie, the drop from the boss for the shovel is only 30%, so it is a low chance. And I'm not gonna lie, Candlelit Phantom is the one that spawns the most. I accidentally spawned in about 6 of them. But the next shovel is going to be over here in the combat guild. If I go ahead and open the map, this is where I am on the map at this coordinates over here. If I go ahead and walk on in here and we look on this wall here, we will see the Slayer shovel for 40,000. This has no abilities, but what it does is it does 6 control, 6 strength, 7 haste, and 15 luck, and 80 boss damage. So this is a boss damage. This is just for boss damage. I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't really use it. I wouldn't really buy it. I don't plan on buying it. It's 40,000. That's a lot of money, and I don't think it is very worth it. The next one we have is another boss drop. So this is the Arachnid shovel. This is from the big spider boss. So this is how I went ahead and got my hands on, if I can go ahead and find it, this is how I went ahead and got my hands on this giant spider here. You have to go ahead and kill this spider, and you have a 30% chance to go ahead and get it. This is also down in the cave, so where you guys found the magnet, if you go ahead and go down there and you follow the cobwebs, it will take you to where that boss spawns. I'm not gonna lie, that boss doesn't spawn very often, and I wouldn't really suggest going for the shovel unless you're trying to be a collector. Now the next one is the shortcake shovel, which is at Tom's Bakery. If you guys do not know how to get Tom's to Bakery, I'm gonna do a little speed run now because it is a little bit far away. So let me go ahead and speed run on over there now. Okay guys, so as you guys will see, we are at Tom's Bakery right now. If I go ahead and open up the map, this is the coordinates, basically is on the way towards Mount Cinder, where for the next shovel we're going to have to go all the way to the top, so there's going to be another time lapse soon. As you guys can see, there is a shortcake shovel here for 45,000. I have seen that you have to go ahead and do some quests for this, but I'm not going to lie, it looks like I can just go ahead and buy it. Okay, you have to complete 5 more of the bakery quests, so if you go ahead and speak to this guy, he's going to give you 5 quests. I'm not going to lie, some of them are very hard. It's like dig up cows and dig up certain legendaries and stuff like that. It's pretty easy to go ahead and do. It's not very hard at all, but I would suggest that you guys to go ahead and get the shovel. This is another one that a lot of people do suggest, but obviously it does take a lot longer and it is a little bit more expensive at a cost of 45,000 with a control of 7, a strength of 9, a haste of 4, and a luck of 18 with 30 boss damage. With it, the reason this is so good is because it has a 25% chance for tasty, which is a modification of 2 times the value, meaning getting up to prismatic or getting up to whatever shovel you want is a lot easier. Then what we have next is we have the pizza roller, and we have to go ahead and do the pizza crust for that, so I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to go ahead and get there now. Okay, so once you're here, you're going to start seeing these pizza signs and basically just follow the road until we're going to go ahead and get to the pizzeria. You guys have to complete quite a lot of these quests. I'm not going to lie, to go ahead and get this pizza roller. So I'm not going to lie, it's not worth it unless you are a collector. I believe you have to go ahead and complete 40 pizza deliveries, and they take a very, very, very long time. I tell you this, it used to be very good. The cars used to be faster. He used to give you more money. It used to be great, but now it's just a lot harder. I'm not gonna lie to you. But this is the pizza roller from the Penguins Pizza. It goes ahead and gives you 8 control, 13 strength, 1.5 haste, which is terrible, a 9 luck with a 55% damage to bosses, with a 25% chance for pizza modification with a 1.45 times. So I'm not gonna lie, not worth it at all to go ahead and get, but it is just a very cool collector's item. The other one over here is in Mount Cinder, where we can go ahead and get our hands on the frigid shovel. This is another one a lot of people do suggest. Obviously, this game is a lot about personal preference, to be honest. If you guys want a shovel that has more luck to get better items and you're really good at the game, that's good for you. If you want one that has more control, so the bar is bigger because you're not as good, go ahead and get that. Like I said, there's not really a specific guide. Like, a lot of the shovels in this game are very similar in stats. A lot of them are a little bit better in certain stats compared to another one. It's all kind of down to you. So there isn't a suggested, way to go, because a lot of people always say do this or do that or do this. I will basically tell you guys what I did, but you guys do not have to follow the same as how I did it. But anyways, the frigid shovel with a control of 6, a strength of 8, a haste of 4.5, and a luck of 22. Sorry guys if I am going a bit fast or anything like that. I'm doing this all in kind of one, unless I'm gonna have to go on over to the second island, which it looks like I'm gonna have to go ahead and do. So I think I'm gonna actually do my first cut here, go on over to the second island. If you guys don't know how to get there, some people were saying that you need 30%, some people were saying you need 40%, some people say you need 50%, but you need a certain amount of the journal to go ahead and buy yourself a ferry ticket. Once you've done that, you're gonna go on over to the second island. Also, the ability for frigid shovel is a 30% chance for frigid, which is a modification of 1.8. But I'm gonna catch you guys when I'm over on the second island. Okay guys, so now that we are over in the Copper Mesa, basically there's a couple shovels in here. Some of them in stage 4 are from the Traveling Merchant, but most of them are over here. So the first one we have is from defeating the Basilisk boss, and it is actually one that I do have myself. It is the Venomous shovel. As you guys can see here, it has a control of 3, a strength of 11.5, a haste of 7, and a luck of 16. So it is a pretty good shovel considering you get it from a boss. It also has 75 boss damage, and it has an increased chance for Venomous, which is a modification that does 2 times the value. This boss does spawn every now and again. If not, I believe it is 25,000 to go ahead and buy the horn to go ahead and spawn him, and you will need to do this to go ahead and get one of these shovels later on in the video, but I will go ahead and tell you guys about that. The next shovel that we do have is one from the Traveling Merchant called the Gold Digger. So basically this is 125,000 from the Traveling Merchant. The Traveling Merchant has a random chance to spawn just like it did there. It goes ahead and spawns all the way around the map. It stays for about 10 minutes I believe, and only there will be a stock of 2 or 1, and as soon as someone in the server buys up the 2 or buys the 1, then they are gone. So I would suggest getting there quick if it is something that you are going for. And it has a control of 7, a strength of 8.5, a haste of 5, a luck of 20, with a boss damage of 30, with a 25% chance for golden modification, which is a 2.5 times value. Then the next one we have in the Traveling Merchant is obviously the Prismatic shovel. That is the one I have. That is the one a lot of people have been using. That is the one a lot of people say is like one of the best ones to get when you're coming into endgame, with a 250,000 cost, with a control of 9, a strength of 8, a haste of 5, and a luck of 20. But the best thing about it is it gives a 30% chance for iridescent modification. Iridescent modification gives you a 3.5 times value, which is very, very good. It is a very good modification, and it also does proc basically every single time. I'm not gonna lie to you. The next one that we do have is over here in the Phoenix tribe, which I would also suggest you guys go ahead and get this tribe leaders quest. It is a very long quest. It's a very hard quest. I would do a video about all the quests, but here we go. Go ahead and get this quest because you're gonna need this quest to go ahead and get some of the other shovels, especially the stage 5 shovels. So we're going to go on into the tiki shop, and as you guys are going to see, there is going to be an obsidian shovel. This also has a very cool skin, and on the wiki it does say it costs 140,000, but as you guys can see here, it costs 100,000 with a control of 3, a strength of 5, a haste of 16, and a luck of 10. So it has insanely good haste, but the control, the strength, and the luck is kind of bad. So I wouldn't suggest you guys go ahead and get this, but it also has a damage of 50. But the next things we do have is we obviously have the stage 5. So the first one we have is we have the Cinder Caverns, and if you guys remember earlier, I was talking about how you guys need to go ahead and kill the basilisks for this. So there is probably quite a few videos on TikTok. I would go and do it now, but I'm not gonna lie, it's on the other island, and that is really far away, and I'm not gonna lie, I really don't want to go over there. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, I'll hold my hands up, I'm lazy. Okay, but if you go over there, you will need 3 basilisks. I'm currently working on it right now, so if we go ahead and look, and we have the 2 basilisks, you're probably wondering why am I going for this shovel, because it does only have a control of 0.5, a strength of 26, a haste of 5, and a luck of 5. This is one of the shovels in the game that you can literally just kind of one hit most things. When it comes around in the blue moon, you can one hit everything. It has a +1 shiny chance, and it has a 10% chance for venomous. But the reason you need the basilisk is because when you go and find it, so you guys will see in those videos that you can find everywhere. I'm not gonna lie, there's loads of videos out there of how to go ahead and get it. You will need to offer it 3 basilisks. Once you offer it 3 basilisks, you have the chance to go ahead and buy it. It costs 190,000, and you also need it for the magma boots quest, but I'm gonna tell you a little bit more about why you need these magma boots later on. So that is a very good shovel. The next one we have is we have the glinted shovel, which is in the copper mesa with 345,000. Also guys, go ahead and search up a tutorial how to get this one. It's a little bit difficult. You need the glider and some jump and stuff like that. It's very long for me. Okay guys, I'm doing this all in one. This video is going to take a lot of time for me to edit anyway, and I kind of want to get it out as soon as possible for you guys. So this has a control of 9, it has a strength of 7.5, it has a haste of 7, and it has a luck of 25. I would show you obviously, but I don't even have a glider myself. Okay, I haven't even got the glider, so I'd have to go and get the glider, do all of that just as a tutorial. They're out everywhere. TikTok's the best place to find them. This also has a 20% chance for golden modification, a 2.5 times value for that, and the shovel gradually heals endurance over time. That is very cool. The next one we have, and this is why you need the magma boots, because for all of these next, you need the magma boots because it is in Mount Charcoal, right? And if you guys go on over here and try and just waltz on in there, it's gonna start killing you, and it's gonna start killing you very fast. So if I go on in here for 2 seconds, as you can see, it's starting to do a lot of damage. And if you speak to this guy here, he's gonna tell you that you basically need some magma sandals basically, and the quest to go ahead and get these is very long. You need to dig up 10 just loot, you need to get 30 shiny items, you need to purchase that shovel I was just talking about, dig up 75 modified, dig up 1000, defeat 10 bosses, and reach level 50. The reaching level 50 is probably the hardest thing out there to possibly go ahead and do, but once you go ahead and unlock Mount Charcoal, you can get your hands on the draconic shovel, which costs you 170,000. It has a 16 control, which is a very good control. It has a strength of 3, which is very bad. It has a haste of 3, which is also very bad, and it has a luck of 15, which is also decently bad. It has a boss damage of 50, so I would highly suggest not getting it. It looks very cool, but I would highly suggest not buying this. The next thing we have is we have the monstrous shovel. This is from killing the boss in that area. Bear in mind guys, that boss has 350,000 health, so I would highly suggest trying to get some friends together that are all level 50 that can go in there and killing it together. If not, it's going to be virtually impossible. But if you do go ahead and get your hands on there, it has a control of 8, a strength of 8, a haste of 7.5, a luck of 12.5, and then a damage of 85 with a 50% chance of dark, which is a modification of 1.1. Not gonna lie, absolutely terrible shovel. Wouldn't even suggest even trying to go for it and trying to grind for it, but if you do get it, it's kind of cool. But I'm not gonna lie, terrible shovel. Then we have the best shovel in the game. We have the Starfire shovel, which is from a meteor, but there is a catch to it. You need to actually go ahead and kill the boss inside Mount Charcoal. So you're gonna have to get the boots, you're gonna have to go up there and find a team to go ahead and kill this boss with 350,000 health before you actually are able to unlock the ability to buy the Starfire shovel. If it does come down for 600,000 and you try and buy it, you will not be able to. It is very hard for it to spawn, and it also is very expensive. But if you are trying to buy it without having to kill this boss, you will not be able to go ahead and buy it. But it has a control of 9, which is very, very good, a strength of 10, which is very, very good, a haste of 5, which isn't bad at all. I'm not gonna lie, if you just hit the thing every single time, haste isn't really gonna be an issue. And then you have a damage of 60 with a luck of 30, and it has a 40% chance for Celestial, which is a modification of 4 times the value. And honestly, Celestial is absolutely insane. I have these totems down here, the Celestial totems, and I make so much money from them. These cost 20,000 and I make at least 40 or 50,000 of my money back. It's absolutely insane, and I highly suggest that you guys do go ahead and go for this Starfire thing. I'm not gonna lie, for earlier players and for people that don't have all the time to go ahead and play the game, it's gonna be very hard, okay? But I'm not gonna lie, it's very worth it. So that is every single shovel in the game, basically telling you guys about all of them. I'm sorry I couldn't show you the locations for all of them, but I'm not gonna lie, a lot of them are very, very hard to go ahead and get your hands on. And even someone that has, you know, like I said, 26 hours playtime, it's very hard, okay? The game is hard. I'm not gonna lie, it's not supposed to be easy. I think they kind of released it to basically make it so there's a lot of content for people, which there is. There's loads of content everyone can do, and it is a very, very good game. But like I said, let me know down in the comments what you guys want. I saw a couple of people were talking about how they want a quest guide, where all the quests are, what they all do, how and stuff like that. People also want charm guides and stuff like that, so I will slowly work on them. I post every single other day, but like I said, subscribing really helps. Try and hit 10,000 before the end of 2025, and a look, you guys can make it possible. But it's been Zez, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out and ciao.